Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about defense this morning. Let's get into it. Welcome to your Hump Day stream. I am Greg Sykes. Welcome to the Washington Football Maniacs YouTube channel, where we talk about everything Washington Commanders. And if you're new here, thank you for joining us. This is a relatively new thing here on the channel. I'm trying to incorporate some new live stuff, so we may not have a lot of people joining this early in the morning, and these streams will not be extremely long, due to the nature that I have to go to work. But that being said, I wanted to talk about this morning really quickly what is wrong with the defense and how to fix it. So the Washington Commanders defense is very talented, as we all know. We have so many first-round draft picks on this defense, especially along the defensive line. That defensive front is stout. And then, of course, we have a first-rounder this year, and the secondary that we unfortunately benched in the Chicago game. He's kind of had a couple of games where he's had a bad outing, and so what can we do to fix it? And what exactly is the issue with the defense? Okay, a lot of fans feel like part of the issue is that it's a scheme issue. You know, they feel like there's something wrong with Jack Del Rio's schemes, and he needs to take a look at his schemes and fix his schemes. Other people feel like it's the players. The players are just not executing the schemes right. And, you know, I think for the rest of us, we probably fall a little bit in between. I think you're always going to have a camp where it's like there's probably a little bit of everything. I think a lot of times it comes down to execution. Ultimately, I don't believe that you have any success in the NFL as a head coach or as a coach in general, defensive coordinator, head coach, whatever, and not have a successful scheme, not have schemes that will not work whatsoever in the NFL. So I kind of fall into that category where I feel like I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with Jack Del Rio's schemes. But, you know, there could still be something wrong with the coaching itself. All right? So you got that. And then you got the fact of, all right, well, then it must be the players. The players are not executing the schemes correctly. Well, that could be the fact. You know, the players, they're supposed to be practicing these schemes. A lot of these players, they've been on this team for 4 years under Jack Del Rio. They know the schemes. Why are they not executing the schemes correctly? Doesn't make any sense. Well, maybe it's not so much the schemes. You know, maybe it's how the schemes are called. You know, maybe they're not being called at the right time, or maybe there's just not enough halftime adjustments, or maybe you can't wait until halftime to make the adjustments. Maybe you have to start making the adjustments after the opening drive from the opponent. And you realize, oh, this is what they're doing. I've got to change things right away if we're going to have a successful outing. So what is it? How do you fix it? Well, have we even completely identified the problem? Well, here are some of my thoughts on it. All right, I think it's several variables. I think, number one, from what I've heard from some of the opponents that have faced the Washington Commanders defense, there have been some players, especially in the secondary, for instance, that either kind of show their hand, and so the receivers know right off the bat what scheme they're in, and so it's kind of easy pickings for them. Or they're just kind of lazily, drifting into their coverage. So it's not necessarily that the coverage is bad or they're in the wrong coverage. They're just not really getting there on time like they should. So that could be on the player, certainly. But I think that's also on coaching as well, because coaching should be eating you up, right? I mean, coaching should be telling you, get your butt out there. You need to get in a position a lot earlier than that. And that's something that you're supposed to have worked out in training camp. All right, you're supposed to be right there in position at that point, and you should know it. And these players are constantly out of position. And this was the problem last year, the year before that, and the year before that. We saw it a lot. The secondary being out of position quite a bit. They gave up huge plays. A lot. And now, a lot of the guys along the defensive front were saying that this is the best secondary that they have played with since they've been here, but we're still seeing big plays being given up. So I haven't really seen necessarily a better secondary. I've seen some better plays sprinkled in here and there, but I haven't seen anything that indicates that anything has improved. I think a lot of that is on coaching. I don't think the coaches are doing enough to get their players in the position where they need to be. And I don't think that the players are responding to the coaching either. Now, that's going to be the age-old argument of whose fault is that? Is that the players or is that the coaches? Because you think these players are grown men. They should be able to respond to the coaching. And the coaches say you need to be in this position. They should be adults and say, okay, I'm getting in that position. So why are they not doing it? Why are they time and time again out of position? And it's not just the secondary. The defensive front has not been getting pressure to the quarterback. Why? Is it that they are being put in the box too much? Is that more of a scheme issue? Now, that could be a scheme issue. Maybe there's not enough stunts that's being called up front. It's just bull rushing, straight bull rushing, trying to get to the quarterback. These quarterbacks are a lot more athletic than what they used to be back in the 80s and 90s, right? They're not all just straight drop back quarterbacks. They scramble a lot. They run around. They're very athletic. And so you got to be able to keep them in check. You got to keep them in the pocket and not let them out. And we have played against very athletic quarterbacks who can scramble on you. And honestly, that's been part of the issue as well. But, we've gotten sacks, but, we haven't gotten constant pressure to these quarterbacks. So that's an issue that we have to fix. How do we fix it? I think you need better linebacker play. I think you need to make a change from Barton. Maybe Khalil Hudson, maybe give him a chance, put him in there. You just need to make a change there. I think, oddly enough, linebacker has been the weak point of this defense. And I say oddly enough because Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio were both linebackers in the NFL. So do you think out of any position on this team, linebacker would always be the strongest position, yet it's not? So how do we fix it? Yes, I think you start making a few personnel changes. I think you start to maybe allow the defensive front a little bit of freedom. Um, you know, you got to maybe start doing some more stunts up front. But you're going to have to give your secondary, you're going to have to put some double teams on guys like A.J. Brown and these big time receivers. You're going to have to shut down those big plays. And that's the thing that the Commanders really need to work on, shutting down those big home run plays. Because that is killer. It seems that if they can shut those down, they can keep teams out of the end zone. It really seems that way. But when teams are able to get over top of them, I don't know what it is. It seems like it just deflates that defense just very quickly. Anyway, this is a quick stream. Hopefully there's people watching. I don't see any messages, but this is still brand new, so people don't really know that I'm hopping on here in the morning. And haven't really been advertising a whole lot just because I don't always know if I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to try to do this on more of a regular basis, start advertising it a little bit more. But not to worry, Brandon and I are still going to be doing our videos in the evenings, recording those, getting those out. Had a family emergency last night, so we didn't get to record last night. Both Brandon and I have been battling sicknesses. As you probably can tell, I'm still kind of nasally sounding. So been a lot of stuff that has kind of been fooling with the channel here. So really keep supporting us. You can support us by subscribing, watching the videos, and really, honestly, the biggest thing too is to get these videos out by sharing them with some of you other friends, sports fans, whatnot. Getting the word out, because YouTube doesn't really help us out a whole lot with that, so we have to rely on you good folks. All right, you take care. We will see you in the next one.